Evening race fans, Pyrate here with Black Flag E-Racing. Yes, I am back. Have you missed me? If you've missed the shenanigans over the last couple of weeks, it all imploded at Darwin Racing Evolution, and Darwin went on a massive kicking spree, removing most of the active roster over something quite trivial, in fact. Blocking everyone out and shutting us for YouTube and the whole shebang. But we are back, and we are badder than ever, and we are now Black Flag E-Racing. This is our first ever event. It is Saturday evenings. It is the Black Flag Bullshit Tour. And here is the first race. It is a race round the Daytona road course in Group 4 cars. So without further ado, let's get cracking, shall we? What can I tell you about this competition? Well, it's the Black Flag Bullshit Tour for a start. I will give you some information, but there is the start straight away. We are away. Stormfly did qualify in first place, and here's away clean, closely followed by Brummy Bulldog. Stu Selton in third, with Stargroup in fourth place. Arminis GT from Lithuania in fifth place. Smoky Tom in sixth. Firewoodman just there, moving up into seventh place, above Tej in eighth. Cool Runnings there in ninth place. There I am in 10th, my usual position, bringing up the rear with Old Man J and Grizz Troopers. But no change up front. Stormfly, Bobby Dog, Stu Shelton still side by side. But Smoky Tom and Firewoodman having a little bit of a battle there early on lap one. So we're coming around into this tricky infield section. Cool Runnings sliding down the order, actually. Forward up into seventh place. And if I remember rightly, there's a few little tags here. Don't see them now. But I'll make the move on Arminis, just tagging Cool Runnings there, who himself goes into, I think that was Firewoodman. But Mr. Cool Runnings drops into 11th place. I move up to 9th. Arminis just behind me in 10th place. Obviously, this will be this is the first two races I did. This will be it. Now I am streaming again. Arminis with a lovely move around the outside, moves up into 9th. Grizz Troopers making use of that slipstream and trying to have a go. But out front, what do we got? We've got Stormfly. He's in the lead. Closely followed at the moment by Brummy Bulldog. Brummy Bulldog joining us from the Shark Racing team. Stu Shelton in third. They are at the moment just starting to show their dominance. There is Stargroup in fourth, or Wiggy, as it says there. So Wiggy and Stu Shelton with their own private little battle. So who's in what? There is Stormfly. Stormfly is in the phenomenal WRX, as is Brummy Bulldog. Both, in fact, WRX very, very popular in this group 4. So lap 2, we start Stormfly WRX, Brummy Bulldog WRX. Wiggy in the Corvette, loving that the American car there, showing some good pace there in third as well. Stu showing it in fourth in the phenomenal, my favourite Group 4 car, the Alpha 155. There is Tej. He is in fifth place at the moment. Tej is he's also in the Corvette. Smoky Tom in the GTR by the looks of it. Yep, he's in the GTR. There I am, I'm in the Alpha 155. Arminis also in the WRX. It's a said popular car. Firewoodman going for the McGann Trophy. Grizz Troopers in the WRX also. Great livery on that car, actually, loving it. Mr. Cool Runnings at the moment in the Lancer, back in 11th place. Sure, he's going to make up some better pace later on in the race. And Old Man J, as we see a massive spin there from Old Man J in the WRX, not quite getting the same kind of performance out of it, shall we say, that everyone else is. So anyway, what is Black Flag Bullshit? Black Flag Bullshit is our opening tournament, Saturday evenings, and it is got a mixture tournament, really. It's a mixture of Group 4 and Group 3, alternate weeks. Group 4, Group 3, 10 race series, 3 races in the Americas, 4 in Europe, and then 3 to finish off in the Asia category. Quite simply, 10 races, you take your best 8 results, and the winner is decided from that. This tournament, and actually our race team at the moment, is very kindly sponsored by, and I'm going to try and pronounce this right, it is Joghems Machinery. Joghems Machinery. And if I pronounce that wrong, Tej, I'm very sorry. I'm trying. I don't speak many foreign languages, but I will give it a go. Joghems Machinery. So there we go. Black Flag E-Racing is brought to you by Joghems Machinery, and also by Club Leaf. Right, so talking to Club Leaf, there is the man himself, Stormfly, out in front, not having it all his own way, not able to pull away. Brummy Bulldog at the moment with the fastest lap of 1:5.53. Just behind him, but they're starting to pull away now, quite some way actually from Wiggy. Wiggy's got himself round Stu Shell and up into the podium places in that really good Corvette. This is a 60-minute race, 60-minute endurance race. Tyres are times 5, fuel is times 5. The hards are a mandatory tyre, so they do have to kind of think about what they're gonna, when they're gonna play it, when they're gonna use it, and what's best. They'll start half a tank of fuel. So the first pits are around lap 6, I think, if I remember rightly. So Stu Short in 4th place, just starting to drop back from where he's just in that slipstream, but the top 4 now, not quite pulling away yet. Tej really having a go at sticking it on the back of that group. Smoky Tom also on the back of Tej, giving him some trouble, but there is a big gap now to Arminis. He's in 7th place at the moment. He is, and you'll notice, well, I just want to point out, we've got a very Dutch and British heavy contingent in Black Flag E-Racing, but it is splattered by Arminis, who is Lithuanian, and Grizz Troopers, who is American, but also Mr. Cool Runnings. He is wearing a Dutch flag, but he is actually Jamaican. So Arminis, they're in 7th place. There I am in a phenomenally good looking Alpha, struggling though in 8th at the moment. Mr. Cool Runnings bearing down on me like a crazed animal. Fire Woodman with a penalty there. Fire Woodman came into this race straight off the back of a race with DRE, as did Old Man Jay. Unfortunately didn't last the distance, whether it was a connection issue or whatever, but he didn't stick around too long. Grizz Troopers, they're currently in 11th place, with Old Man Jay a little bit drifting at WRX at the moment, but anything can change. It's a long race. We're only 6 minutes in so far. So 12 runners in our first tournament. How cool is that? Not bad at all. I will go through a rundown of what we've got coming up. We've got loads and loads coming up, all going to be live streamed. So there's Stormfly still in the lead. Really good looking livery. Thank you, Stormfly, for the awesome Black Flag Racing team logos, and I'm loving the livery there on that WRX, that Darth Vader livery. Really cool. Brummy Bulldog joining us from the Shark Racing team. Showing very good pace at the moment to stick with Stormfly all the way. Wiggy Stargroup leaves DRE a 3-time champion, 3 championships last season. Absolute travesty that he got booted out for questioning what was a very questionable decision. Well, the reason we're all here is because we questioned that, and dare you question it, and you find yourself kicked out and blocked, which is exactly what's happened. Kicked out of everything, in fact. Smoky Tom just pulling a move there on Stu Shelton. So Stu Shelton not dialing in the 155 all that well, as we see him go through. We also see Tiju go through. He goes through into 5th place. Stu Shelton dropping down the order. Was an early front runner, was in the top 3. Lost out to Wiggy, has now lost out to Smoky Tom and to Tej. So Tej up into 5th place. Stu Shelton dropping down to 6th. There is still that gap back to Arminis. Arminis at the minute, a bit of no man's land. He's not quite close enough to challenge for the top 6, but there is some distance back to slow old me, as we see Cool Runnings getting ever closer to the back of me in that 155. Fire Woodman currently in 10th place. Bit of a gap back now. He is not that close to Cool Runnings to make a challenge, but he isn't under any pressure at the moment from Grizz Troopers. Grizz Troopers, however, we'll be seeing Old Man Jay very, very soon. The gap is getting smaller. Out front, though, there is no change. Is there any battle here between these three? Unfortunately, I was racing, so I didn't really see what was going on out front. But pit stops will be happening. Who is first to blink? So Stormfly, he is coming around into that little bus stop section now. Takes it so well. In fact, what we'll do, we'll go an onboard lap with Stormfly, who has now got the fastest lap with a 154.6. 154.6. Really solid lap there. As we see that car porpoising all over the place. As you know, we do have issues with little bit of lag issues with the PS4, PS5 crossover, but hopefully in time that will sort itself out. So Stormfly decides to go in the pits. Bro Bulldog follows him in. Wiggy, he also goes, he pulls into the pits. Pretty much everyone, I think, pulls into the pits here. Smokey Tom in. Stu Shelton doesn't. Stu Shelton stays out. So actually that lack of pace wasn't a lack of pace. He was holding back and now finds himself in the lead. He will come in at the end of this lap though. Everyone else through. TG in the pits. Arminis also goes through. He's been fuel saving a little bit. So pretty much everyone in the pits here. Cool Runnings also decides to stay out for another lap. So all change out front. Stu Shelton from Arminis, from Mr. Cool Runnings, from Fire Woodman, who has also stayed out with very, very low fuel. I think he has made an error of judgment there by staying out. Did he miss the pit exit? That'll be interesting to see. He doesn't quite stay out there, as we see Brummy Bulldog, which is Stormfly, Brummy Bulldog and Wiggy all coming out of the pits almost simultaneously. No one fueled to maximum, apart from Stormfly. Actually fueled to maximum and still came out in front. He's opted for the medium tyres, still has to run the hard tyres in this race. Brummy Bulldog also on the mediums. Wiggy also on the mediums. Firewoodman still on the softs. Has anyone else been brave? Well, certainly not. I wasn't. I went. What I actually did, I had a plan, and my plan was to stay on the softs and drag them out as long as possible, and then just whack on the hards and have a little splash and then go to the end. As you will see, it went horribly, horribly wrong for me. And you'll see why later on in the race. Grid Troopers there, he also opted for the mediums. Everybody really sensible. Old Man Jay did the sensible thing and stuck on the hards early doors, and you will see that pay off for him in this race. Grid Troopers there in 11th. So all change out front. Stu Shelton will come around. He'll come into the pits now, as will Arminis, and we lose Fire Woodman pretty soon, I think. Fire Woodman out of fuel. We see him dropping down the order. He had literally nothing left in the tank. Easy overtake there from Smokey Tom. Firewoodman still trying to get round into the pits with zero fuel on board. We see that we can see the speed dropping there as he runs out. He must have just missed the pit entrance, and that's cost him. But he's in. He's found it now and he's into the pits, but it has cost him. So there I go. I moved through into 9th place, just behind, 6th place, because Stu Shelton and Mr. Cool Runnings in the pits. Actually, I'm on the softs, and you'll see how this goes horribly wrong for me very soon. Brody Bulldog has got past Stormfly into 1st place. Stormfly not letting him get away from him though. Still very close together. The gap back to Wiggy now opening up. He's just letting these two disappear off up into the distance. A lot of pace there in Brody Bulldog and in Stormfly. So both of them showing phenomenal pace out in front. Smokey Tom finds himself up into 4th. Stu Shelton dropping down the order, going into the pits late, but it hasn't really worked out that well for him. There was no real overcut to be had. Finds himself down in 5th place. Was an early front runner as well. There is Teej up in 6th place, putting the overtake on Arminis, and you can see me there actually challenging Arminis at the moment. Arminis on the medium tyres with the slipstream. Is there an overtake possible? Certainly closing that gap, but he just seemed to get a much better exit. But this 155 is very, very good getting the power down. Unfortunately, WRX just seems to have a little bit more grunt. Coming up towards the bus stop, it's Tej in 6th, it's Arminis in 7th, and me, Urban Pirate, in 8th place. All going into the bus stop very, very close. One mistake and it's all over. Arminis with a very good exit. All of us actually quite cleanly out there. And this was actually one race where I went almost an entire race penalty free. I got a penalty, I think it was on either the last lap or the second to last lap. But managed to go very, very clean all the way through. No change out front though. Brummy Bulldog in the lead. Stormfly in 2nd. Wiggy in 3rd. We've got Smoky Tom in 4th. Stu Shelton in 5th place. Arminis in 7th, just chasing down Tej and edging it ever closer as he pulls out a gap from me in 8th place. Mr. Cool Runnings, some way back at the moment, but is closing, is certainly quicker. And you'll see my mistake with the tyres will start to show itself very, very soon. I thought I was being smart, thought I was being a little bit clever, and it went horribly wrong. Old Man Jay up into 10th place, and see Grizz Troopers in 11th. Fire Woodman, after running out of fuel for the first pit stop, down in 12th place, and with a penalty to boot, coming out of that bus stop on the on that far side of the track. And at that point, we lose Fire Woodman, let's say to a technical issue, shall we say. I don't know that he's rage quit there, but you know, benefit of doubt. Bro Bulldog and Stormfly still going at it, absolutely side by side, neither giving an inch. What we're going to do is we're going to go on board with Stormfly. So here we go. This is what Stormfly sees. Broy Bulldog and that slipstream so strong here, and we'll see. So we're coming round to the end of lap 8 as they go through the penalty line. Closing up on Broy Bulldog, looks to make a move around the outside as they cross the line to start lap 9. There's a touch. He does back out. Broy Bulldog retains first place into the tricky turn 1. Can't make the move stick there, but he's all over the back of Broy Bulldog here. Really giving Broy something to think about. Trying to look wide. Broy Bulldog not leaving any gaps. Nice and tight into this right-hander in this infield section. Both out of the turn very wide, abusing the track limits there. As they come up into this is quite a tricky little combination. You've got this flat-out left-hander into very low gear right-hander with a late apex. Quite a late apex here. And you're dropping down to 2nd, getting back on the power as quickly as possible, ready for dropping down again to 3rd before you hit the long straight. And the key here is getting turned in and getting out of this corner very quickly and on the power without picking up a penalty across that yellow line. And here we go on this is the fastest part of the course, probably one of the fastest tracks on the game actually, if you exclude things like the two full oval, or exclude the oval tracks, let's say. This is a very, very quick track. So they're both heading now towards this little bus stop chicane kind of turn, and it's a tricky left and right combo. And here it's so easy to pick up a penalty there. If you cross all 4 wheels across that yellow patch, there is a penalty to be had. And as we see, he was a little bit naughty with the track limits, and there is a half-second penalty. This will give Broy Bulldog, and you'll see the difference this makes. I mean, the gap at the moment can't be more than 2 or 3 tenths. If you watch this, that half a second, I mean, the gap is now probably 1.5 to 2 seconds. Just like that, makes such a difference. So there we go, Stormfly just drops back a little bit in 2nd place. The gap back to Wiggy. Wiggy is hanging on with them, so the front 3 certainly pulling away from everybody else. But I think the battle out front is just a little bit too rich. He's just kind of sticking, holding back, saving a bit of fuel, and thinking about the second stint. As we're sort of nearly 20 minutes in, or 18 minutes in, which is a good 1/3 of the way through the race. So looking down the order, Smoky Tom, looking very solid there in fourth at the moment. Not able to tack on the back of that front three battle, but certainly not under any pressure at the moment from Stu Shelton in the 155. And I have to admit, I will say I didn't get a chance to race with Stu when he was at DRE. He kind of disappeared from DRE when I arrived. But it's good to race with him. He's been around some of these guys for some time, so it's good to have him in the fold. And there he is, Stu Shelton in that Alpha 155 at the moment, comfortably in fifth place. Again, similar position to Smoky Tom, is there's just no pressure from behind him from Tej. There he is, the sponsor of this tournament, and the kind sponsor of one of the sponsors of our racing team. He is at the moment not looking at putting any pressure on that front five, but at the moment has the mighty Urban Pirate up in seventh place behind him. This is my highest position in these sort of races for any length of time. But you will see the mistake I made with my tyres is already coming to haunt me. Everybody else has got plenty to burn. I decided to stay on the same tyres, thinking I'd save a little bit of time in the pits, and I was being smart. Turns out it was an awful decision, and you will see shortly when I decide to finally go in the pits and absolutely balls it up. And I think it actually might be soonish. So just rounding the big oval to finish lap 10, 20 minutes into the 30 lap race. We are now at the 1/3 mark. So I don't go into pit this time. Finish lap 10. I think lap 11 was where it all goes horribly wrong for me. So we'll return to see that. Armin in 8th place with a bit of a gap behind to Mr. Cool Runnings. But if you want to talk about gaps, the gap further back now to Old Man Jay. He's half a lap behind. Old Man Jay is half a lap behind Cool Runnings. And Gridge Troopers for company there at the back. But that will change. That gap will close up, as you will see very, very soon. So out front, Brummy Bulldog still in the lead. Not significantly so. If we take the rear view, if we can. No, we can't. We can't take a rear view because it's. Oh, there we go. There we go. We can take a rear view if we press the correct button. There is Stormfly bearing down on him. At the moment, the gap is enough for Brummy Bulldog just to be comfortable and race his own race. But he won't stay that way forever. Brummy Bulldog coming around to finish at lap 11. Stormfly picking up that slipstream. And the gap behind now to Wiggy is quite significant. Wiggy just coming off that bend into this straight to finish. He's a good 3 or 4 seconds behind now. Fastest lap is still with Stormfly, 154.6. There is Wiggy there. He's pulled a huge gap on Smoky Tom. Smoky Tom now really cemented 4th place for himself. He's almost got a free pit stop, if of course pit stops weren't as crazy long as you find they are on GT. Unrealistically so. Stu Shelton still comfortably in 5th place. And there is Tej in 6th. Arminis back around me into 7th place. And you'll see, as I'm under some pressure now from Mr. Cool Runnings, my tyres really starting to cause me problems. But I choose, again, to stay out. No, I don't. There you go. That's where I go in the pits. Absolutely cock it up and get reset back onto the track, which completely ruins my race. Mr. Cool Runnings is through in 8th place. And that's cost me a lot of time. Shame I can't do actually I might. No, I'm not going to do the replay. But yeah, so basically what happened there is I turned to go to pits. I just didn't have the grip and ended up on the green stuff rather than in the pit lane itself. To be fair, I left it late. To turn in. I was kind of in 2 minds whether to do it or whether to go again. Kind of decided to go in, left it a little bit late, but didn't have the grip to get turned in at that kind of speed. Found myself in the green stuff and then got track reset, which is something I think I'm going to remove from our league races, because the track reset is it can be useful, it can help people, but it can also be a massive hindrance, particularly in scenarios like that, or scenarios where you're just off the track and you're just about to re-enter and then it resets you, 200 yards back from where you were, which happens quite a lot at Barcelona if you go wide in that big 180 in the last sector. If you go a little bit wide there, just as you're coming back on the track, it resets you right at the beginning of that turn, which can cost you, anywhere up to 5 or 6 seconds. So I'm going to look at changing that. Old Man Jay, the gap much closer to me now, not getting cut adrift as much. I, on awful tyres, am going into the pits a bit earlier than I probably needed to, if I'd changed my tyres as I should have done. Thing is, I had quite good pace. For me, I had quite good pace, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. How wrong I was. No change out front. Brummy Bulldog still dominating from Stormfly. However, Brummy Bulldog stayed out a bit longer for the first stop, went an extra lap, but didn't put as much fuel on, and now finds that Stormfly, who pitted earlier, actually has a bit more fuel on board, so will overtake him just in the pit stop window without needing to do very much work on track. Wiggy in third, again, just racing his own race at the moment, really, not really trying to put pressure on the front two, knows that he hasn't got the pace of them, but making sure he does the job in third, just opening a cold drink because it's hot and my throat hurts. There we go. I could edit that out, but I'm not going to. Smoky Tom there in fourth place, very comfortable race for him. Nothing to see here, as they say. Stu Shelton again, very similar position, but he does have Teach. We've seen probably Bulldog going into the pits now in second place. And so obviously I've gone into the pits and come back out in plumb last place, just behind Grizz Troopers. So Brummy Bulldog goes in early, letting Stormfly, Wiggy, Smoky Tom all go through. Stu Shelton will come through as well before Brummy Bulldog gets out, as will Teach, as I believe. So they're all coming through. Oh, I don't know if these two will. Where's Brummy Bulldog just into the pits now? He is putting on the mandatory, I think, hard tyres. They need to be used, so he's got to put them on. Just checking now. Filling up with fuel. Is he going to put a full tank in? He's actually got medium again. I'm wondering now if it was medium tyres that was mandatory. No, I'm sure it was hard. I'm sure it was hard that was mandatory. I can't remember this things. It's probably my job, but I don't care. So Stormfly in the lead now. Got a few more laps to go before he needs to think about pitting. Wiggy will come in the end of this lap. Smoky Tom also got a few more laps to go. So it's all changing, but mostly with pit strategy. So it seems a number of different strategies are working here, apart from mine, of course. Mine was woefully poor. Stu Shelton promoted to fourth. He is just ahead of Brummy Bulldog, so he managed to get ahead. Tej didn't. Tej is back in sixth still, behind Brummy Bulldog, looking to try and make a move, but he will have to pit shortly. Stu Shelton's got a lot of time left on that track. He's really managing his tyres and fuel very well in the Alpha, and the Alpha actually isn't too bad on fuel, to be honest. But we see there a move, quite an easy move actually from Brummy on Stu Shelton. So a lot racier. Brummy Bulldog clearly going at racing. As we see Wiggy pulling into the pits, as we suspected. So Stormfly will disappear off up the road. Arminis up into seventh. Mr. Cool Runnings not too far behind him in eighth place. Old Man Jay now in ninth place. He will be pitting in the next 4 or 5 laps. Maximum, sorry. And Grizz Troopers still with me for company just behind him after my massive error with the tyres and pitting, running those medium tyres. We are just coming up to the halfway point. There is another pit stop to come all around. Those who haven't run the hard tyres will still need to get them run. And it'll be interesting to see who actually didn't run the hard tyres when they're supposed to. but a lot of people opted for the mediums there, which is an interesting choice. Yeah, me back in 11th place. Obviously 12th would have been Firewoodman. Well, I'll say it would have been him. He may have been further up the field, but he left us early doors. So Stormfly starting to pull out now. Quite a big lead from Smoky Tom. Is there a pit stop in this? Because the next one back is Brummy Bulldog. Now it looks to me like Stormfly has pulled out a pit stop ahead of Brummy Bulldog. Brummy Bulldog on the racing hard tyres with a full tank of fuel. Won't make it to the end. Will probably need to splash and dash. I can't remember what happened at the front end of this race. This I am watching for the first time. But Stormfly comfortably ahead. We will find out now as he pulls off into the pits if he has enough time. Smoky Tom will follow him in. So it's all about where Brummy Bulldog is on the track. Brummy Bulldog just coming out of that chicane on the other side of the track. He will know now that Stormfly is in and will absolutely be pedal to the metal, just trying to close down the gap and get closer to the front runners here. Is there an opportunity for Brummy Bulldog to make this work? So Brummy Bulldog just coming round to complete lap 15. We're at the halfway point. 30 laps. 60 minutes, 30 laps. There we go. So Brummy Bulldog crosses the line. Where does he come out? Where is Stormfly? Where is he? He's disappeared. So Brummy Bulldog comes round. Is Stormfly ahead? Yes, he is. Stormfly comes out in the lead. He was a pit stop ahead of Brummy Bulldog. Absolute disaster for Brummy Bulldog, who was in the lead. Stormfly made the overcut work. He had a bit more fuel, but I think what he did is he just conserved his fuel a bit better. He let Brummy Bulldog, wouldn't let him out of his sights, but he was happy to let him stay ahead, conserve the fuel behind him, went a little bit longer. As soon as Brummy Bulldog went in the pits, absolutely hammered down, then gave himself a big enough cushion to come out in the lead, and a good couple of seconds in the lead to boot. Stu Shelton promoted to third place. Still will need to pit in the Alpha 155, but should be his last pit stop of the race if he times this well. Wiggy in fourth. He's back on the soft tyres, opted for 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so he will be using the hards towards the end. Going to try and take these as far as he can to keep the pace, but looking comfortably fourth at the moment. Smoky Tom back in fifth place. So the overcut didn't work out for him as well as it did for Stormfly. Finds himself in fifth with Arminist for company, and Arminist very, very close. Certainly under slipstream, he might have an opportunity. The only downside is that GTR is phenomenally quick in a straight line. Very difficult. The WRX overall probably a better car in the corners, but when it comes to straight line speed, the GTR is a difficult one to catch. So even with slipstream, you need to have got a much better exit in the corner before. And you know, it's such a fast track. It's sometimes difficult to make up that gap quickly enough. Mr. Cool Runnings back up into seventh place. Little coming together. I had a little coming together with him, which caused him to have a little coming together with Firewoodman on lap one. No doings. He's back up the order. He's back up into seventh place. Teej losing out. Teej back in eighth place. He was at one stage challenging a bit further up the field with Stu Shelton. Finds himself dropped down to eighth with the medium tyres on. Now after the pit stops have done, I am promoted back up into ninth place. Running the mediums, still need to run the hard tyres, so definitely have to pit again. Old man Jay, he's done his job on the hards. He can use the faster tyres now. I think he had the right idea, running in 10th place, some way ahead of Grizz Troopers at the moment, who has been lapped by the front three already. There is Stormfly. Brummy Bulldog just dropping off the pace now. Stormfly just putting the hammer down and starting to open up a gap now. Stu Shelton in 3rd place, Wiggy in 4th, Smoky Tom in 5th, Arminus GT, there he is in 6th place, Mr. Cool Running 7th, TG in 8th, me 9th, Old Man J, and Grid Troopers at the rear. So let's, we've done it on board with Stormfly, let's go on board with Brummy Bulldog in the passenger seat as he does lap here while I talk to you about Black Flag E-Racing and what we've got coming up. So those who, I think most of the people watching are going to be from Black Flag anyway, but those of you who are not, we are essentially a bunch of guys who were in another racing group that shall remain nameless, and we were the core bunch of riders in that group and streamers and everything else, and quite an active bunch, and found ourselves chucked out for defending what we saw as a poor decision. And I just want to make it clear, I was kicked out for racism. Now, let me be clear on what actually entails racism. It was a picture of Basil Fawlty from Fawlty Towers. And if the only person offended is a white man from the English countryside, then it's not fucking racist. Let me just be clear about that, yeah? If the only person offended was a white man from a fucking home county, it's not fucking racist, you bellend. Enough said. Right, anyway, moving on. So Black Flag, so we basically got together and created Black Flag E-Racing. So we started this with Black Flag bullshit. This is our first tour of many. But I will go through what we've got coming up for you lovely people. We're now going to be streaming permanently all the races on this channel. So click the subscribe button, click a like if you like what you see, but most definitely subscribe, so you will get a lovely little message that says that English twat is waffling again about cars, even though he doesn't know anything about cars. But we have several series going on. So Monday from when is it? From Monday the 1st of August, we've got Mutiny. It's an internal team versus team tournament. 4 teams of 3 battling out over a 5-round team endurance event. The first round will be a ranking event, and that will determine who is a captain, who is a tier 1 driver, who is tier 2. The captains will then pick one of the tier 1s and one of the tier 2 drivers to make up their team. From that point onwards, individual points mean jack shit. It is a team event, and it is team points that count. And I will be posting up shortly how those team points are going to work. It's going to be based on teamwork and other bits and pieces like that. Obviously, your finishing position will count as well, but it is about teamwork. And then there will be 4 races. 4 races, which will be each team will pick their home track, and for that track they will pick their home car, and it will be double bubble if their team wins. As just see Brummy Bulldog coming round to lap J, who is currently in 10th place. As you see, Cool Runnings Arminus into the pits, which promotes me up into 9th place for the time being. So there we go, there I am in 9th place. Wiggy still in 3rd. Smoky Tom in 4th. Stu Shelton back in 5th again. So not much change actually after the pit stops, kind of right itself. TJ in 6th, Arminus in 7th. Cool Runnings in 8th, just coming out of the pits. He is out of the pits in 8th, but he has a 3-second penalty for that dreaded pit line. Gotta mind that, it's a huge penalty. Me in 9th, Old Man J in 10th, Grid Troopers back in 11th place. So there we go. So that was Monday's. The first circuit will be Spa, and the first car is the WRX Group 4. Tuesdays, so the Tuesday after that, Tuesday 2nd of August, is the Garage Showcase, and that is a 10-race sprint series featuring 10 different vehicles, everything from the F-150 Raptor to the Mini Cooper S, McGann Trophy, to a kart, to a Yaris, to a GTR, to Group 2 cars, Group 3 cars, Group 4 cars, a whole manner of different cars, 10 different cars, 10 different tracks, 10 different conditions. The circuits will be confirmed. I'm still putting that together. That'll be announced shortly. But that starts on the 2nd of August. That is going to be a really interesting series. 2 20-minute sprint races. One will be standard grid starts. The second will be reverse grid racing. So it'll be slowest first. And obviously we will be keeping our eye on new sandbaggers. So what else we got? Wednesday. Smoky Tom. There we go. Homage to Smoky Tom. Let's watch him go around because he came up with this idea. It's a Group 3. It's not a Group 3 series. It's a Group B series. It's a 5-race Group B series starting on Wednesday, the 3rd of August, which is a mixture of road and dirt tracks. And then we've obviously got, we're back to Black Flag bullshit on a Saturday. And we've literally just announced Shenanigans on the Sabbath. Although I think we should change the name to Black Flag Sabbath. But that's 3 cars, 3 sprint races, 3 tracks, 3 different tyre compounds. So the short sprint races, one after the other, on 3 different tracks, using 3 different cars, but whether that be Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, whatever. We haven't quite ironed out the details of that yet. But you have to use 1 set of hards, 1 set of softs, 1 set of mediums, and you have to decide which track you're going to use them on, because once you've used them, you cannot use them again. So where are we? What's changed? Nothing. Stormfly in the lead from Brummy Bulldog. He is actually a lot closer to Wiggy now. The gap from the front 2 opened right out. Look at that. It was Stormfly Brummy Bulldog pulling away from the pack, but Brummy Bulldog now is falling into the clutches of Wiggy. Wiggy running the racing softs for this middle stint as the light just starts to fade on Daytona. I do love these graphics on the GT7. And what we lack in a bit of functionality and some of the little buggy bugs, it does make up for in some of the visuals, I've got to say. Smoky Tom in 4th. You see Stormfly diving in for his last pit stop, just passing the 20-minute mark to go. So we've got 2/3 of the race already gone, 1/3 still to go. So Brummy Bulldog will go through into the lead. He will need to stop again though. Wiggy through in 2nd. Smoky Tom, don't know if he's close enough to get through. Stormfly seems to be able to pit faster than anybody else, despite being a very slow pit stop. Stu Shelton still in 4th place. Did you back up into 6th place? Won't be able to go to the end. Will have to stop again. Arminis, it looks to me like he's ready to go to the end on those medium tyres. Now, has Arminis used the hard tyres? I will have to go back and have a look through and check if Arminis actually used them. Because I don't remember him putting them on. So I will go back and check that. But if anyone watching wants to do it for me, please feel free to let me know that I've missed something. If he has missed those hard tyres, I think this time we'll get a slap on the wrist because we've already got to race 2 and I didn't pick it up. My own fault. Cool Runnings in 8th. Got tagged by me on lap 1. Never got his race together again after that. But not really showing much pace. That car not giving him the kind of performance I think he would have liked to have had from the Lancer. It's for me, it's not a quick car. I didn't really like the Lancer in another group same car Sunday, but you know, it is what it is. There I am in the 155, painfully chugging around in 9th place, about to go into the pits. As you'll see, it will be a disaster for me. Old man Jay, he will have to pit again, but he will be on much quicker tyres. He might even pit sooner. Grid Troopers bringing up the rear. So Brummy Bulldog has stayed out. Wiggy stayed out. Look at the tyres there. Tyres really struggling for Wiggy. Not so much for Brummy Bulldog. They've done a really good job. Those hards really hold out very well. They're not quick, but they do hold out well. My God, it's warm. Smoky Tom. There he is, currently in 3rd place. He will have to stop again. There he goes. He goes into the pits. But there is our current leader. He started from pole. He currently has the fastest lap. He is currently 3rd on the track, but he does not have to stop again. He can run to the end of this race if he so wishes. And I'm just going to check whether it was hard or medium was the mandatory tyre, because I'm beginning to think actually I'm wrong and it was medium, which is a bit stupid because I'm the one that came up with the bloody idea for it. Hold the line caller. Where are we? Just having a look now. Week 1, where are we? Ah, yes. So anyone that's running medium tyre, actually was medium was the mandatory. So nobody had fallen foul of the rules because everybody has used the medium tyre. Slap for Andy for getting that wrong. TG up into 4th. He wanted to stop again. He's got Stu Shelton really close to him. Stu Shelton could possibly go to, in fact, I think he will. I think Stu Shelton will go to the end there, and he is looking very racy on those racing soft tyres. Can he make those last the last 15 minutes of this race? So we're talking 7, maybe 8 laps. I think 7 laps is what's left. So he's just got to make those tyres last 7 laps. Certainly doable from that position. So where are we? Lap 23. Brummy Bulldog in the lead. Wiggy in second. Both need to stop again. Both coming in for their final stop. Wiggy, Brummy Bulldog in. Stormfly coming round. He should take the lead here. The gap wasn't big enough. He went in a little bit earlier, so he's made the overcut work, and he's managed to stay ahead with the undercut. Will they make the overcut work on him? I don't know if they will. I don't think the distance is big enough, but a great masterstroke from Stormfly to have quite a slow middle stint, just to hold out a little bit longer, get the going for the overcut a couple of laps later, and then pedal to the metal. Absolutely melted it around the track for the rest. There we go, into the lead, and comfortably so. As we see fuel going on board for Wiggy, fuel going on board for Brummy. Going on board. How quickly is he closing this gap? Stu Shelton up ahead. He's in the slipstream. He's got the GTR. He's got the power of that GTR. Stu Shelton desperately ramming the accelerator of that 155 through the floor, just trying to break this slipstream as they come around to complete lap 24. Who's that? That's T's just pulling into the pits. They both move up position. Stu Shelton into 4th. Smoky Tom into 5th. Slipstream finally as they get into turn 1. But we know the Alpha's much better here. Awful turn 1 from Smoky Tom. Goes very, very wide. Huge. Stormfly absolutely stonking away with it now. He's almost a sector ahead of Brummy Bulldog in second. Brummy Bulldog himself not getting out of the clutches of Wiggy. Wiggy using the power of that American muscle just to try and close that gap on Brummy Bulldog, as they just lapping me in 9th place. And did we just see someone going very slow? Stu Shelton 4th, Smoky Tom in 5th, trying to close that gap. Arminis in 6th in that WRX. Been very solid, very, very solid midfield run from Arminis, actually. Very comfortable, hasn't really put a foot wrong. Tej had to jump into the pits very late. On a charge now, though, on those racing softs. Not too far behind Arminis. Certainly can put pressure on. Cool Runnings, he's probably a sector back. Been comfortably in 8th for some time now, though. And certainly not catchable by me. He's out of the infield section, whereas I'm just starting in it. Currently in 9th place. But Old Man Jay absolutely pedal to metal closing the gap. We're both on the racing softs, but Jay with a lot more fuel on board. I, at this stage, am looking at the fuel gauge and wondering if I'm going to make it, and it's going to cost me. Just you wait, it's going to cost me. An extra 2 seconds in the pits would have been enough to maintain 9th place, but unfortunately I'm already short shifting, and there is Stormfly in the lead. There is Brummy Bulldog under some pressure from Wiggy. Wiggy trying to move around the outside slightly quicker. Is he able to make it count here? Let's have a look on board. He is through into 2nd place as they go into turn 1. Brummy Bulldog, sorry, to the bus stop, not to turn 1. What am I talking about? Brummy Bulldog slightly better on the brakes in that WRX, but Wiggy has the slipstream. Here we see Wiggy in the slipstream of Bromley Bulldog, using the power of that American muscle. But the WRX is so good, and Bromley Bulldog gets such a good exit there, that the slipstream not giving enough power. But can he get ahead into turn one? Wiggy does get ahead. Bromley Bulldog with the inside line though into turn one. Wiggy cuts it off. They both go to the outside into turn one. Really close, really fair racing, giving each other enough respect. Enough respect, isn't it? Wiggy in second. Bromley Bulldog drops down to third. This battle though is not over. This battle will rage for 3 more laps. We're on lap 27 at the Daytona road course. This is the Black Flag E-Racing, the opening race of the Black Flag Bullshit Tournament. The first of many, many tournaments for us going forward. There's Bromley Bulldog around the racing hard. Wiggy on the softs, I believe. I think he is on the softs, yeah. He is on the softs. But Bromley Bulldog, not actually a slouch on those hard tyres. Does he get a much better exit here? Not quite. Wiggy just able to get the power down a little bit sooner, but the slipstream is strong in this one. And the slipstream pulling that WRX behind. So this is our new channel. All the sort of stream we had before, it'll still be me, it'll be me being me, without any shackles. I'll say what I like and do what I like, and that's what people want. If you don't want to hear it, you don't have to listen. But there we go. But say that, subscribe, and send it to your friends immediately. We've got GT Fusion coming up soon. Can't remember the dates, but from now on, this will be the new home of the GT Fusion broadcasts, of which Bromley Bulldog is a competitor, I believe, and his teammate from SRT, Monty, who's also in the group. And here we go, he's, as we say that, he's looking to pull the same move that Wiggy pulled at him a lap ago. They crossed the line, Wiggy just ahead. The slipstream not quite strong enough that time round. I think he pulled out the slipstream a little bit too early. Little love tap. No doings there though, as fair as you can be. Didn't really take him out, you know, he just touched the back of that car without causing any problems. Stormfly way ahead. So here we go. What's going on behind? There's me, fuel mapping like crazy with old man Jay closing. I am saving fuel like an absolute monster, like I'm paying for it, because I've got I underfueled. Simple as. At my last pit stop, I didn't put enough fuel on board, and now I am being swallowed up by old man Jay, who is on a charge, and he can see me in his sights, and that's why he's after me. Smokey Tom in 4th, Stu Show in 5th, Armin in 6th, Tej in 7th, Cool Runnings in 8th, no changes there. Grizz at the rear of the pack, Stormfly miles ahead, absolutely miles ahead. As we see Wiggy ahead of Brummy, and Brummy in that slipstream again. Is there going to be an opportunity into the bus stop? Wiggy just holding the sort of middle of the track there, just to hold off any sort of opportunity down the outside, really. Wiggy nice and tight, losing a little bit in the middle there, and it looks to me that Brummy's got a much better exit. Gets into that slipstream, tries to pull out again, has to drop back in behind. But he seems to have the pace, but not quite enough to get past him. It looks to me that what he needs to do is maybe drop off a bit on the turn before, just to get a bit of a longer slipstream and then pull out for the overtake, because he's pulling out too early, losing the slipstream and not gaining the momentum. So Wiggy's still holding him off. This is a battle that's raging right to the end of the race. We're on lap 29 of I think 31 laps, or 56 minutes in. There is 3 minutes remaining, almost 3 minutes 15 seconds, so certainly 2 laps remaining for these two. So yeah, lap 31. Everyone else, I think lap 30, yeah, I think lap 30 is the end for everybody else. But if we look here, actually, Smokey Thomas closed that gap where these two have been fighting out for second place. Remember, this is the battle for second place. Stormfly way ahead. It will only take a disconnection or a big mistake to lose out at this stage, and I can tell you now that doesn't happen because I can see the future. Wiggy with a big wobble coming out of that infield section. Stu, I keep calling she's not Stu, is it? It's Brummy. Brummy a lot closer to Wiggy than he has been throughout this race, but certainly not close enough there to capitalise on the slipstream. But this is where I think he needs this little gap here. He needs to just start closing up now, not too close. So he's got a bit of a slipstream coming out. So use his slipstream from here. Let Wiggy pull him towards him. I think that's much better. I think he was a little bit too close last time. This is much, much better. He's getting pulled along. He's in that slipstream. He can build up that extra speed in 6th gear and then look to slingshot in a NASCAR style. But Wiggy doing such a good job at keeping ahead. But he knows that he can't do it forever. That WRX just pulling out again. He's going wide. Is he looking to cut back inside? Wiggy defends that inside line. Doesn't go wide. Had to make a little edit there on the clip. So here we are. We're looking at Old Man Jay chasing me down for 9th place. Remember, he put enough fuel in. He stayed in the pits a little bit longer. I was trying to be a bit brave. I underfueled. I'm now fuel saving to the end of the race on lap 28 and absolutely being hunted down now by Jay. He goes a bit wide there. I go a bit too much on the inside trying to defend. But Jay's just got so much more speed than me because he doesn't have to save fuel. I am fuel map 6 at this stage and he just breezes past me into 9th place and disappears off up the road. But meanwhile, this battle is still raging between Brummy Bulldog and Wiggy. Here we go. So we pick up the action back where we were with Brummy Bulldog on lap 29, trying to make the move on Wiggy into turn 1. And we see here that Wiggy does a really good job of defending the centre of the track. Doesn't want to give the opportunity for Brummy Bulldog. But we see here, Brummy Bulldog's so much quicker in this section, really closes up, seems to get a much better exit, doesn't pick up a penalty, neither does Wiggy, but he is now in that slipstream and being pulled along. So Wiggy has to think more about, it's less about thinking about entry and exit speed than it is about defending the line into the corner. There is Wiggy just going through that penalty line with Brummy Bulldog closing down on him. Brummy Bulldog pulls to the outside. Wiggy stays in the middle, defends that inside line. Very, very close. Wiggy a bit tighter but wider on the exit. Other way round for Brummy Bulldog. Just looking for any opportunity, any space to get through. Wiggy holding him off though like a trooper. No rule change anywhere else. Smokey Tom 4th, Stu Shelton 5th, Armin is still in 6th place, Teach is still in 7th, Cool Running still in 8th, Old Man J up to 9th, having overtaken me in 10th, and we've got Grid Troopers at the rear in 11th place. Out in front though, Stormfly VR6 absolutely dominated today, fastest lap and pole position, but this is the big battle here, the battle between Wiggy and Brummy for 2nd place. And again, we just see the WRX seems to have a lot more cornering speed, but the additional muscle on the straights is just keeping him at bay. But that slipstream is pulling him along nicely. We're on lap 30. There is 30 seconds to go. I'm sure these guys are going to cross the line for a lap 31. This could be the end of the race. This could be the end of the race. And we've got Brummy Bulldog on hards, chasing down Wiggy on softs for 2nd place here. Both into this little section. And we know the WRX is quicker. He's right up the arse of Wiggy now. Can he use that slipstream? Exit speed much better. Drops in for a bit of slipstream. Needs to get tugged along. As we see the time running down. And that is the time up. This is the final lap. Can Wiggy hold off the WRX on a charge? The WRX is still trying. We're coming towards the line. He pulls out. It is a drag race to the line between Wiggy and Brummy Bulldog. And Wiggy just holds out for second. Bowie Bulldog comes home in third. Stormfly clearly